All right, hi, my name is Delante. I want to thank you all for coming tonight, and why don't we start with opening statements for the season? Why don't we start at this end and just keep it going?
Fred Howard, John Hay High School. Looking at coming off of a 17-6 season last year, had a couple additions that really have helped improve the roster, so we're looking at a pretty good season.
Kevin McNamara, Trinity High School. Last year we were 9-13 with 3 ACL tears to starters and 1 violation of OHSA rule. We found out how to play young real quick, so this year we're looking just to reload and keep things moving in a positive direction.
Dwayne Morrow, Beechwood High School. Have a couple seniors, but a very young team after that. I think our record was 9-11 last year. Looking to have a successful basketball season.
Damaris Wentz, Brush High School, coming off a 21-4 season last year. Won the Western Reserve Conference and looking to compete again this year as well.
Cullen Harris from Chardon High School. Went 18-6 last year. We returned 4 starters, 9 letter winners. Just kind of keep working on getting better every day.
Ryan Lumen from Mayfield High School. We went 11-12 last year, and again, just like Chardon, bring back 4 or 5 starters, 8 of our top 10, so hopefully we can compete and play hard game in and game out.
Paul Force, Eastlake North High School. We went 19-5 last year, tied for second in the WRC. Ended up losing to Mentor in a district semifinal. We bring back 11 of our 12 varsity players, all 4 starters, 8 or 9 letter winners. We're just trying to create. We have the experience. We're just trying to create the kind of culture that we need to compete on a consistent basis, through the season and into the tournament.
Joel Wolfe, Riverside High School. Last year we finished the season with 6 wins. This year we have 6 senior letter winners returning. A few other seniors coming along as well. Clearly, after hearing all this, we're in a very difficult conference, and we're gonna need to get our act together and try and be competitive on a nightly basis.
To Mcmahon Laurel School. We were 21-4 last year, district runner-up. Bringing back about 4-ish starters. Have a couple of good additions to this freshman class, so we put together a good schedule. Should have a good time this year.
Lisa Stott, Cornerstone Christian Academy. I went 15-11 last year. Lost to the Berlin, the Division IV state champs in the regionals. We're young, inexperienced, but talented, and competitive balance helped us a little bit in our district, in our region, so we're excited for our long-term goals.
All right, moderator, what's up? Can we ask questions? What's up? Oh, no, you want to turn it up to us now? What's going on?
Yeah, I can turn it over.
Okay.
Yeah, Damaris, why don't we start with you? You got the target on your back in the Western Reserve Conference. Just talk a little bit more in depth about what you have coming back and some of the challenges that you're going to face here in the preseason, getting ready for these guys off to your right.
Absolutely. It'll be tough, very tough. I think even tougher than last year for me. Of course, we lost our seniors, Dejamia Martin and Ariel DeBase. They both play at Notre Dame now. They were seniors last year, so that'll be 2 big losses. And another big loss, I don't know if you guys know her or not, we lost Jenna Perry to an injury. She's out for the season, so a hamstring injury. She just can't do it. She's just done for the season, so that's very bad news for us. Good news is we have 2 pretty good additions to our team. Myla Kyle, along with Talia Jeter, who will probably start for us. 2 very good players. Also, we're bringing back who I think the best player on our team is Denasia Sanders. She's getting a lot of Division I looks right now, probably about 4 or 5. Very good player, fast, can shoot, can do it all, plays defense. She's a nightmare matchup, I would think, if I was attempting to prepare for her. So just trying to get everything. I got a couple freshmen that'll be playing full-time varsity. They average 16, 17, both average 16 or 17 points in the 8th grade. pretty good athletic kids. They're still trying to get implemented. So we're going to be good. I think we're going to be very athletic. We're going to push the ball. We're going to press. A Coach Winters type team. We're deeper than I've ever had before. Ever, I think, as far as the talent-wise, from the best player to the player who needs the most work. We're very, very deep. I can go probably 12 or 13 deep and continue to press. That's what I would like to do. So, but the work is cut out for me. As you see to my right, I mean, 20 wins, 18 wins, 17 wins, and great coaches, to my right and left. So I'm up for the challenge, and we're looking forward to the season.
One more question before I move over to Cullen. What's pick that one game on your schedule that you just die into play, and why?
I want to play Columbus Northland, December 2nd at Ursuline. Neutral site. Columbus team is pretty good. John JB, I don't know, the All Ohio guy. He has a coaching job now, and he'll be coaching. He's coaching that team now. So I think that'll be a good game. It's a good opportunity for our girls to play on a college court, and a good opportunity for us to play some out of area type competitions. Very good competition. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to playing these guys. So these are great coaches. I have to prepare each one of them has beat me up pretty good once or twice before, so, but that Columbus Northland game I'm looking forward to because I'm pretty good friends with that guy. And he's talking junk to me. I like to talk junk. So.
What? No, never.
Not me.
Just for the reserve conference coaches, just curious, same question for each of you. Where are you right now on that goal of trying to win the Western Reserve Conference? And I guess we'll start with the other four now, and we'll definitely probably come back to Damaris here. So whoever wants to start first here.
I think there's 5-6 teams who have a chance on any given night to really knock off anybody else, and there's 2 teams who are young and they're working hard. I know they're in the gym probably right now getting better. It is as a whole, I think the conference will be better than it was last year. Madison didn't graduate anybody. North brings back 11 starters, 11 letter winners. Mayfield didn't graduate any starters. I'll never count out Damaris, even though they graduate some kids. I know they're going to be good. Riverside brings back everybody. He had 1 point guard who was a senior. Everybody's going to be better, and it's going to be a dogfight every night. And it's what makes it fun. It's what makes me get up in the morning.
Ryan, you want to?
Yeah, we're working, but again, it's as Colin said and as Damaris said, it's definitely a night in and night out thing. Where on any given night, I think that we got to lace them up and go. And I think you look at scores over the past few years, and you look at close games, and you look at upsets or non-upsets, but rare to see a blowout. I think in our conference, and if it is, it's a team pulling away late, so it's not like it's from start to finish. But we definitely are in the pecking order. We're just down there in the pecking order. I think you get multiple teams here tonight that, as Coach Harris said, can win it and definitely give people a run for their money. So I wouldn't, definitely not putting us anywhere that we shouldn't be at this point in time. We got a long way to go and a long road ahead, and we'll do our best to get there.
At North, we're one scrimmage in a few weeks here, so we haven't really gotten into those kind of team discussions yet. I think all the girls coming back, they kind of know what lies ahead, but we really haven't done the schedule game or started getting into that. We got to take care of our gym, our culture, make sure our system's implemented. We want to be able to do more, bring back a lot of experience. Want to be able to do more offensively and defensively than we've been able to do the past couple of years. So as far as competing in the conference, I think that might be in everybody's mind, but it hasn't been something that we've addressed as a team yet. We got to take care of our house first.
Coach Wolfe?
Yeah, the WRC is it's an impressive conference. There's no doubt about it. I feel one of the better games that we played last year was at Brush. Mm-hmm. Actually, it was fantastic. We shot the ball extremely well, and I think we ended up losing by 15. And you play well, and you still lose by 15. I think the second best game we played last year was at North, sure. And we played fantastic, and we ended up losing by 8. I mean, it's just one of those things that it's a good conference. It's fun to be in. It's very competitive, and it's going to be much the same this year, I believe, if not better, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Damaris, just to finish off that question about the WRC.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a dogfight. those teams that were maybe middle to lower last year were good. You know, I mean, it was like Joel said, it was a great game that he played against us. As a matter of fact, at Riverside was a good game. You know, it was at halftime, maybe it was a 3-point game, you know, at Riverside. So it'll be a dogfight. I know Kinston has new coaching. Willoughby South will be better with new coaching. So every single night you have to come to play in the Western Reserve Conference.
Not just that district. I think you all feed into the same district.
I see these guys again.
Tournament time.
My goodness.
Yeah, well, you know, I got maybe a little game we can play here to get everybody involved. We'll just start over on the right again. Let's just talk about some of the best players in the area, not counting girls on your own team, but just maybe bring up a player that you know you're going to play at some point in the season, and just tell us why, you know, what kind of challenge you have to you know, defend against that player.
I'll tell you, Paul has a couple of them down there, but Perosco, I believe that's how you say her name. I mean, she's torched us the last 3 years. I think she's had 28, 32 or something like that every game against us. And so I know my seniors that have been with me the 4 years have definitely circled December 2nd. It's a game that we look forward to measure to see where we are. Because to me, you know, Paul and Eastlake over there, they do have a good program. He has a system that's in place that really helps those young ladies work hard. So Eastlake would be that game for us.
We'll play Youngstown Ursuline at a holiday tournament in Canton right after the first of the year. And the Dejanette Harris, fantastic guard, I think that's her name, out of Youngstown Ursuline. She's just a Big Ten recruit. And the kid can go 100 miles an hour with the basketball or shoot it in as a defender. We played her in the summertime, and she was just lights out. And I'm not sure that there's too many people who can stop her. And she's got a nice team built around her. So if you're going to mark one on our schedule outside of our conference, that's the one I'm looking for.
For us, it would be Perry High School. I think the young lady's name is Dolan, I believe.
Claire Dolan.
Dolan, yeah. Great shooter, great leader, can really score, a real student of the game, real tough, gritty basketball player, and she's a phenomenal leader.
Once again, for me, it's Perosco. She's just a handful, man. You know, I don't have an answer. You know, we have to do it by committee with Perosco. Same thing with Grace over at Chardon. You know, we got to do it by committee. Those are, when you get a lone kid that can really play, that's just a matchup problem every night, night in, night out. It's a matchup problem. These guys have that. So those are the two for me.
I can go out of the room. Soleil Barnes at Nordonia. She's going to Toledo. She's a junior. We open up with them. I mean, she can get it. She can score off the dribble. She can knock down jumpers. She's one of the most dynamic, do-it-all players that I've seen in a while. Heck of a ball player. So.
Yeah, just to echo the statements, I mean, great players in Grace and Sam and Destiny over there at North. But again, just out of our conference, we play Aurora. The Sellers sisters they're long, they're good, they're young. So I'll be happy to get them off the schedule after this year. But no, they definitely are going to be matchup nightmares for us come December 23rd.
You know, definitely, you know, Grace at Chardon, you know, and Julia also at Mayfield, you know, had a big game against us late in the year last year. You know, I know that's something that the girls, you know, sticks out in the girls' minds. Lauren Teray, that coach has over at John Hay, she's a handful, you know, as a freshman last year. We did a decent job against her last year, but it might have been her first game, you know, on a varsity court, so I know she's grown leaps and bounds, played a lot of basketball since then. She's a tough girl to guard. And certainly Sanders brings a lot to the table for Brush too. The fact that she can slash, she can defend, you know, doesn't take a lot of plays off out there. She'll shoot the ball. So we got a lot of matchups. Seems like every week there's one or two girls to talk about. So that's what makes it fun.
They've already brought up most of the players in the WRC that I thought of, but I also thought of Destiny Leo. As a freshman last year, she was an unbelievable shooter, and you know she's just going to get better. So she's only a sophomore now, and it'll be very interesting. And I also have to say thank you for talking about Aurora, because we play them this year too. And so that's another pair of people that we need to deal with as well. So yeah, that'll be fun. Thanks for the reminder.
No problem. That's why I'm here.
Some of the best players that we've kind of come across over the last couple of years that I know are still playing are, number one, obviously, Naz Hillman. She's the best I played against, like, on the court, coached against. Could not play against her at all. And Hallie Thome was dominant. She absolutely slaughtered us, but Naz is just so strong, and they're actually ironically going to play together. And then she would be Jameer Houston would be 1A she's got the ball handling and the shot to go with. We always kind of scouted her as LeBron James with the Euro step. We actually have her on film stepping over a double team. Not kidding. Those are probably the top two. Soleil Barnes is no joke. I think she scored 50 on us in the scrimmage last year. Paul knows I'm a big fan of Sam and Destiny Lee was one of my favorite players to watch. She's a sophomore. I like long players that are matchup problems that can put the ball on the court. And then to my right, Coach has a bunch of good players on her team, including the twins and her daughter and Lauren. And we got a lot of good players in the area. And even the who else? The Neitzel sisters over at St. Joe's Academy kill us. So Neitzel, both of them. The little sisters I see her doing up and under last year as a freshman, so we got a lot of good players on the schedule.
Coach? I'd say Naz. I'd agree with Coach. There's no answer for her. We play Youngstown Ursuline, so I think there's two guards there that get it done. Gilmore, besides Naz, has Annika Corcoran. I think she's an incredible guard. And then, Lake Ridge Academy, our big rival. They have Harrison, who's a phenomenal point guard, and Sydney Mayberry is strong.
Let's stay over on the left there, and just 30 seconds. 22 games later, what's going to determine success for your team?
For us, maturity. We're young. We'll probably start 3 sophomores, a junior, and a freshman. And our schedule's brutal, and I can't blame anybody but myself for it. Gilmore, Elyria Catholic, Youngstown Ursuline. I think I counted 7 regional finalists we play, and we're just a D4 school. But I think we're talented enough, we're just not deep. So it's growing those kids, that 6, 7, 8 kid. I had 2 kids that quit the week before the season that were 6 and 7. Right now we have injuries. I have my only senior, broke her hip bone in soccer, and then one of my twins broke her foot, just got her back. So keep staying healthy. Weathering the storm of our schedule, like these guys, it would be exciting to go and to try to win a conference, but we don't have that luxury being independent. But I like what we have, so ours is looking for after game 22 and the tournament run. So.
Yeah, we're excited about having an opportunity to get through sectionals, get back to Nordonia. We came up a little short in that district final with HB, and we had the sense that whoever was going to win that game, just the way it lined up, was going to have a chance to maybe get all the way to Kettering Alter, and they ended up going all the way. And played them tough. So it's been a ladder for us up every year, and it was a 3-point game with under 2 minutes, and you just don't forget those games. And we got 4 or 5 kids coming back from that team that remember every minute of that game and every little thing that could have went differently. So we just want to have an opportunity to get back to Nordonia and play our best basketball and see what happens.
Coach Wolfe?
Since this is my second year at Riverside, we're trying to still build a program and build the culture a little bit. So my main goal is to win more games than we did last year and just keep getting better.
Coach Forrest?
I think keys are, to be versatile enough not to be able to be pigeonholed into a team that has to do this or has to do that. We need 7 or 8 girls to contribute on the offensive end and on the defensive end. We can't stand around looking at one girl. So I think just people kind of experiencing success and growing as far as their confidence and knowing that, hey, they can be a difference maker, whether it's on the defensive end, offensive end. You know, we just want to be versatile and be able to be deep enough to be successful. Obviously, health, you know, for all of us up here, you've already heard a couple people mention. Basketball's a long season. A lot of these girls play other sports or play basketball year round, so it's kind of a fine line as a coach, pushing the conditioning level, but taking care of the bodies of the young ladies as well. So that's always something that's utmost on my mind. I know that.
Yeah, kind of to echo what Coach said, I mean, it really is a long season, and I think something that we stress to our girls day in and day out is just, you know, being consistent with our effort and our energy, and that starts on the defensive end. And we know shots aren't always going to fall, and they're not always going to be great looks because of what teams are bringing, but, you know, if we can control, we'll be in a good place. But just, you know, building to where we're better, I think, on February 10th leading into tournament time than we are on November 25th when we open up. And if that's something that we can do and say that we are in that place, you know, we'll be all right. I think our conference is, you know, you never know where you're going to end up. Our non-conference, we lost Coach Howery and his studs down there at John Hay, but we added Laurel and we added Westfield South and some other schools that are, you know, can beat us up pretty bad on any given night, so we got to be ready to go. And I think that, you know, we show that consistent growth, we'll be all right coming the end of the season.
You know, our keys are going to be finishing possessions on the offensive end, defensive end of the floor, loose balls, finishing possessions on the rebounds. You know, we finished 11-3 in the conference last year. We lose 2 of those games in overtime, and we tell kids, well, every possession matters. You know, that one time you didn't sprint back in the first quarter could have been the difference in the game. So we're trying to emphasize the importance of every possession. Every possession is important, just as if it's we're down 1 with 30 seconds left. They all matter. So getting kids to buy in and understand that's our key.
Coming off two shocking, the district semi loss for me, where we went to the foul line down 1. We could have tied or won, and we missed both. We're still hungry. You know, we felt like we could have won that game. And I thought it was on me because I should have did some things differently earlier in the game. And I told the kids that afterwards, it wasn't the person who missed his shot's fault, it was my fault. So I should have did some things earlier in that game that would have maybe propelled us to a win. Also coming off the shock of Jenna Perry, who might be one of the best shooters in our area. Her hamstring injury in the summertime, and me finding out through her doctor that she couldn't come back was, you know, after we got through those initial shocks, you know, I looked at my schedule, I said, man, Cleveland Heights, Columbus Northern, Cornerstone, North, and Chardon, we have no time to feel bad for ourselves. We need to get right back in the gym and be prepared to compete and play. Our kids did it, and for us, it'll be mental toughness. I don't see us blowing teams out just out of the water, and I don't see a team blowing us out of the water. So, like Coach said, those possessions, those few possessions that you have or at the end of the game, that's mental toughness. You know, can you play defense as long as you need to get that stop? Can you execute on offense to get that score? So for us, it'll be mental toughness to get where we need to be.
I agree with that totally. It'll be growth, maturity, and quite honestly, leadership. If we get those 3 things going, we can cause a problem for a lot of people. Not really concerned about scoring. We can probably put up points against anybody. But if we can say, kind of like what Coach Winter said, if we can have that mental toughness and really lock down on defense and make teams do what we want to do instead of them being able to do what they want to do, we can challenge. We can seriously challenge. So that would be the keys for us.
We're going to go full court the whole game. We'll start 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and a senior. And, you know, our bed's going to be made at the end of the season and not the beginning. We have to take the early part as a way to learn. But regardless of the outcome of the game, be a fierce competitor. We talked about being a 5 in our number system. A 5 means you're a fierce competitor. So taking the mentality of a freshman who's never been on a varsity floor or playing against next level girls is going to be interesting to see how they react. What we're doing is we're conditioning them to where we have to be okay losing the first, second quarter, but knowing we are cutting that number, and in the fourth quarter play 11, 12 girls who are just going to move the ball. 5 seconds is too long in the way we want to do it in a possession. We want to press, get up the floor, If they get 3 laps and we get 1, and then we get 3 laps, they get 3 laps, we get 1, we got to count on the fact that we're going to get at it. We tell my assistant coaches all the time, you be the good cop, let me be the bad cop, and we're going to make sure that these kids understand that we're moving the ball up and down the floor. We scrimmage brush tomorrow, so we'll see how much. Damaris is just talking right now, but I'm sure I'm excited to get my butt whooped by Damaris a little bit, right?
No. Everybody, I think, in Northeast Ohio has heard about the 2 transfers that have come into John Hay and Jameer Houston, who just signed with University of Miami, and then Kiara Reed, who signed with Xavier University. So the biggest thing that we have to do is bring all those kids together and be able to play under one umbrella. When we found out that those things were taking place, that some of the kids did have, like, hey, wait, what's going on here? I've been a senior, I've been here, this is my 4th year. And so we're really working on that camaraderie, that comprehensiveness amongst the group. And then we had 2 freshmen that have come in, and Maya Maxey and Waleen Teray, who are phenomenal as well. So that's our biggest thing, is being able to come together as a unit and play as one. And some of the bigger things that we're looking at is that we go to the Title IX Conference and Classic in DC over Christmas break, which is going to be a huge test for us, and an opportunity for the girls to really enjoy some national spotlight then.
Very cool. Can you take a minute, maybe just kind of talk a little bit about your league? We got all these guys from the WRC, one guy from the CVC, one from the Senate. Can you just kind of, a little overview of what you know and some of the top teams and challenges that you guys will face?
Well, the Senate East Tech, they're the reigning champs. Mel Burke over there has won, I believe, 3 or 4 Senate championships in a row. The last 2 years it came down to both of us. We were able to knock them off in the regular season, but then came down to the Senate championship, and Burke got us again. So the Senate's not one of our the strongest conference that's in Northeast Ohio, but it has a couple of teams that can play with anybody on any given night. And so our ultimate goal is we got to take East Tech down before we can think about moving on to everybody else.
I want to go over in CVC. Obviously, you guys have been competitive in there. You got Taylor, but talk a little bit about the other teams, the guys you're going to see on your schedule this year.
It's rough. I have the pleasure of playing Laurel, which I think were regional finalists. I have to play Country Day out of Detroit in the Michigan Classic over Christmas break. I play Villangela St. Joe at the Q the first game of the season. So we got a real rough schedule. We play everybody, but again, it's about after the 22 games and how tough it's going to make us. And we're going to have to fight and get strong and get better. So that's how we do it.
Right. In conference, though, when you look at some of those teams, the Chagrins, the Perrys, obviously you got your hands full. Can you talk a little bit about the conference as a whole?
Well, it's a pretty strong conference. Perry is I think they were regional finalists again last year also. I think they lost Hathaway Brown. Very good team, very strong team. Lost to them by 2 points and 1 point, so I owe them. So we're gonna work real hard to get them. Had a split with Chagrin. We beat everybody else, I believe. But it's a pretty tough conference for what we play and how we play.
Let's just all call a spade a spade. Look, you guys are in preparation for playoffs. So let's just go ahead and just get to that point. I'm just probably asking questions that are going to go viral. So let's start with Cornerstone Christian here. Lisa, first of all, how are you doing health-wise?
Good.
And then also just with Lutheran East jumping out of the district now, what does Cornerstone have to do to get back to regionals and even possibly state Final Four 2 years ago?
Well, I had mentioned it earlier. We got to weather the storm with our schedule. You schedule something like that, an intense schedule like that, to help you grow and mature, and that we've got to stay healthy and obviously grow. But to get through our district, Lutheran East got bumped up, Berlin got bumped up. Kind of echoing on what Coach said, I believe whoever comes out of our region is going to win this thing with Division 4, and it's obvious it's going to be, I think, Lake Ridge Academy this year. And we have them on our regular season schedule. So a little bit later in the season, which will allow us time to grow. So it's not gonna be easy, but I can kind of pinpoint district. I think we could beat ourselves, but with Luther East getting out of there, it's probably gonna be Cuyahoga Heights. But we have our eyes, obviously deep, and Lake Ridge Academy, I see they could come out of their district. That's who we have to get through.
We talked about Hathaway Brown moving up to Division I. What's going on with the Gators? What was your reaction? And what's it going to take for you guys to get out of that district? And
Yeah, we were probably the only school checking the division realignments on a daily basis. So we had we got the news that HB was up, and then we had to wait for the second shoe to drop because we knew that Gilmore got bumped up too. So it would have been short-lived if we replaced the state runner-up with the state champ in our district. And the ball bounced our way, and Gilmore ended up out in Ashtabula and kind of lightened the load out in Nordonia, but Nordonia is still brutal. Carly's program at St. Vincent St. Mary is unbelievable, and she reloads, and they can play, and she's a good coach, and they play hard. And she brought Eve the Spivey on this year to help her out, and I expect them to just be absolutely a load to deal with. Kevin over at Revere, I think he wins the Suburban League every year. It doesn't matter who he has on the team, so Revere's always solid. East Tech is good. He's going to have 2 or 3 kids out there that can get him 20 points. So, and then Orange. Caden went over to Orange, and they got at least one other kid I know that can really play. So if Orange hadn't been doing things in the past, they're going to be better this year. I know that. But it's a fun district, and we're excited to be there and compete.
I'm actually going to kind of skip over the WRC because that may be the question we may end with tonight. But let me go ahead to Fred here. Fred, you also had some changes in your district. One, what's it going to take for you guys to not only win the regular season again, but win the city championship? And then 2, who's the favorite in the Euclid district at all?
To answer that, Solon, you always got to put up there. They're, I think they're the reigning champs, I believe, of the district. So, they're at the top. As far as what we have to do to get there, like I said, we have to come together as one, as a unit. Yes, we have, some talented players with us now, but, going through a whole season, and then we put a tough schedule together. We go down to St. Vincent St. Mary in January, and then, like I said, we go to D.C. and we play 3 top-notch teams from all over the country then. So if the kids, buy in, which they're starting to buy in, I think we'll do good. Goal is to win the conference and advance as far as we can, in the districts then.
Thank you. And over here to Beechwood and Trinity. The big question is, Elyria Catholic the favorite in the district?
Absolutely. No disrespect to anybody around here. Eric Rothger, he's the best X's and O's coach there is. EC gets a nice gift with Gilmore going up and them coming down. Luck and good kind of go together a lot, and Rothgary's as lucky as they get too. What we say in practice, truthfully, and I hope they watch this because it's meant for them to hear. We practice every day. We do something towards the district game. Our conference is great. Bill Angelo, St. Joe, St. Thomas is probably the favorite, Aquinas, and then Murphy over at Central Catholic. He'll rebuild that up pretty quick. But what we have to do as a young team is be prepared for game 23. And whoever that is, however it falls out, if it's Elyria Catholic, who in my mind has a pretty easy path through our district because it's not as heavy as it used to be, just like Gilmore did last year. We have to take out what can we do to beat them. Well, to beat EC, Padua showed it, you just run them up and down the court. So when we play 3 freshmen and that sophomore, in that game 1, and we rotate at that 2-minute mark, 5 more girls, we're going to bring waves of 5 and athletes who can run up and down and make those big girls run. because if they can get up and down the court for 32 minutes, good for them. But I'm hedging my bet that they can't. And I don't know if we have the horses to do it, but we will try. Just like when we played Gilmore last year and we were winning 3-0, we called a timeout, we celebrated. You know, man, you gotta enjoy it, right? Absolutely. Now Bob was a little upset because then they went on a 30-0 run at that point. But hey, we have to take those little wins along the way as you go. And for us, being so young, to concentrate, to be the competitor and prep yourself for that. We'll do something every day. And hopefully my dear friend, comrade, complete respect for Coach Roth, Gary, can't wait.
He stole everything I had to say. I truly believe that they are the favorites. Disciplined team, they can really shoot the ball well. They play great team defense. They're going to be tough to beat.
All right. Let me zoom out here. This one. Let me just run the list off. Brush, Chardon. If this is your team, just raise your hand. Brush, Chardon, Euclid, Geneva, Kinston, Lakeside, Madison, Mayfield, Menor, Eastlake North, Riverside, Shaw, Southlake, Liberty South, Warren Harding. Who's the favorite in this group right now? Who do you guys have your eyes on, or can you have any eyes on anybody right now?
Well, I want to start off by saying I think we're all very happy we're not at Euclid for that district.
Absolutely.
That district, I think Coach sold, there's probably 7 or 8 teams that could win, that are in that Euclid district, that could win the Perry district. It's loaded. But geographically, we got lucky. I can speak from my experience. I think, as we talked about in the conference, and we had 8 conference teams in there. You got Menor, Euclid's 2-time defending district champion. Mm-hmm. Geneva's going to be solid. It's not cliche because I really mean it. Like we're just worried about getting better. We're one of the smallest Division I schools in the state. So the reality for us to go and play schools that are 2, 3, 4 times our enrollment, it's hard for us to compete at that level. That's why we just focus on what we control, our energy and our effort every day, and just try to get after it. But I think we're going to play each other. Everybody's going to play each other twice, basically, 8 teams in that conference. So it'll wean itself out. Menor, Euclid, Geneva, Warren Harding is kind of a mystery. I don't really know what they have. And other than that, it's going to be, I think that's going to be one district you may see some big upsets in terms of seeds because there's a lot of balance there. Sorry.
I just want to see, I'd like to see us as a conference kind of get over the hump a little bit. I think we've made progress, but, we got 2 teams in the semis last year. Both teams come up a little bit short. I'd like to see 2 WRC teams playing each other on that district final. Obviously, I'd love to be one of those teams, but just to gain, respect Northeast Ohio-wise and beat some of these teams that we've come up a little bit short. I think every year we've kind of made progress toward getting there. You still got to look at Euclid. They probably have the best guard in Connie Chaplin, best guard in the district. Menor's probably got the best post in the district. They got Teagan. So I think you still look to those guys as being somebody that's going to be tough to beat come that time. But I'm just pulling for us to kind of come together as a conference, and hopefully we got 2 of us sitting there whenever it is in mid to late February.
I think I'll speak for myself, kind of feel like the outsider maybe, but because there's 3 teams sitting to my right and my left who were at one of those top seats last year and definitely can be back there again. They can sandbag you all they want, but they're going to be up there. But no, I think too with the new seating format too, a lot of it's going to depend on what we do in the regular season. We can sit here and say we want to be at that district final game, but if you're a 9 seed or an 8 seed and you get your win and you get to go play the 1, or so 4 or 5, can you be the 3 seed? I think there's definitely going to be some. You're going to have to pull. I don't want to say an upset, but a game that maybe people felt you didn't have much of a chance in if you're seeds 6 through 12 to really get to where you want to be and maybe advance on, because it's definitely going to be a battle. And I think, as Coach said, you look at some of those games, you just think potentially where things might fall and where teams might go, and you could have. There's a legitimate chance where you could have 3 conference teams clustered together. Mm-hmm. And okay, we've seen now each other twice, and so you win, and then you get to see a team you saw again for a 3rd time. And so it's going to be really interesting as how it falls. And I agree with Coach Force, and it would be it'd be phenomenal. Let's not even go 2. It'd be not phenomenal to see if we get 4. Let's get 4 of the districts. And I think the talent's there definitely in our conference, and some of the maybe the big wigs and some of the teams that have been there before. I would expect them to be pretty darn good again, so it's definitely a challenge.
Just to kind of add, talking about that NCAA style seeding, there's a realistic opportunity where Mentor wins, because the conference they play, Mentor wins 6 games and it's the 7th seed. So you're the 2 seed and you get Mentor in the second round. You're like, what the heck?
Yeah, no,
that's kind of with that seeding. That's kind of the real way it goes. And but I just want to jump in thinking about that seeding, and Lumen brought it up.
Yeah, I think with the seedings now, the new seedings, I think you'll really see. You really have to earn your way through the tournament now. It's no, 3 rounds of the 13 seed and everyone ran from you and you play. You're playing all these, smaller teams. It's not that anymore. If you're a 1, you'll beat it. You'll play it. If you beat the 8, you'll play the 4. You don't go 10, 11, and then playing the district championship. So I think this is the best way. I like, when it came out, I was a fan of that. I think it should have done it probably a couple years ago, to see who really is the best team. I'm sure people won, they won, and you can't take anything away from them by winning the districts. But now you'll really have to play a good team before you even get to the championship. So the teams that I have, taking nothing away from anybody else. Listen, the biggest losses I've ever taken was Cornerstone is not in our district, but she killed me. She drilled me a couple years ago in the district final. Like, it was a whirlwind. I just beat me. And East Lake North last year, at East Lake North, killed me. Those are the 2 biggest losses I've ever had in my career. So to go as far as the district is concerned, I think it'll be North and Chardon along with myself. Euclid, I think they lost a lot. I think Connie's really good. And don't kill me, Euclid fans, for saying that, but I think Connie's really good, but I think they lost a lot. And Mentor lost a lot, so I really don't think that they're as strong as at least the 3 top teams in the WRC when you talk about Chardon, North, and Brush. So I think it'll come down to one of those 3 teams.